Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from Group 4. In here we are going to presentation about project assessment development. Before we will presentation, I will introduce our member group. There are Annisa Sekar Ayu with ID number 003, Zahra Khusnul Cahyani with ID number 007, Arifah Nur Hidayati with ID number 085, and Leilita Shiva Elfitria with ID number 116. And this is the subtopic of the topic. There are the definition, the criteria, the types, function and purpose, strength and weakness, the step, and the last is the example. Okay, first is the definition of project assessment. Project assessment is an assessment of an assignment that must be complete within a certain period or time. The assignment include planning, data collection, data analysis, data presentation, and reporting. The time period to complete it depends on the complexity of the task. For example, in 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, or 1 semester. Project implementation require primary data, secondary data, collaboration with various parties, and the ability to evaluate results. Therefore, project assessment can be carried out on all subjects is in an integrated manner or on individual subjects at all levels of education. Project assessment can provide information about the ability of students to understand, apply, and convey information about certain material in one or more related subject in accordance with the competencies to be achieved in the given assignment. Aspects assessed in the project assessment are written in the assessment rubric. The assessment rubric contains criteria related to the stage of a project. Okay, next is the project assessment criteria. To find out whether the project assessment can be considered of good quality, at least the 7 criteria must be considered. There are general ability. General ability means whether the project work of student in carrying out the given task is sufficient to be generalized to other tasks. In this case, the more this task can be compared with other tasks, the better the quality of the task. Next is authenticity. Authenticity means whether the given task is similar to what is often faced in practice of daily life. Next is the multiple focus. Multiple focus means whether the task given to student has measured more than one desired ability. It could be that a student has good abilities in memorizing and analyzing a material, but is weak in practice. For this reason, a teacher can complement their shortcomings from the psychomotor aspect by looking at the cognitive ability. Next is the teach ability. Teach ability means that the task given is a task whose results are getting better because of the teacher effort to teach in the classroom. So the tasks given in project work or project assessment are tasks that are relevant to what the teacher teaches in the classroom. Next is the fairness. Fairness means whether the given task is fair to all students. So, the task must have been considered whether all students to do the assignment or not, with the consideration that the abilities of each student must be different and varied. Next is the feasibility. Feasibility means that the tasks given the project assessment are relevant to be carried out considering factors such as cost, space, place, time, or equipment. And the last is scorability. Scorability in an assessment is the most basic thing because it is to find out whether an assessment is valid or not. This means whether the given task can be scored accurately and reliably so that the results obtained are also valid. In project assessment, a teacher must be careful in terms of scoring because indeed one of the most sensitive aspects of project assessment is scoring.
So now we're going talking about types of project assessment. There is 3 types of project assessment. The first is project assessment based on implementation time. There is 2. The first is project work process and second project report. Project assessment that emphasize the process. First is ability to plan and organize research, ability to work in groups, and ability to carry out tasks independently. And the last is project assessment that emphasize the product. The first is ability to identify and collect information, ability to analyze and interpret data, and ability to report or deliver the result. Okay, now we'll move to next topic, which is function and purpose of project assessment development. The first purpose is assessment function selectively, which aim to first to select students who can be admitted to a particular school, to select students who can advance to a certain grade or level, to select students who should be awarded scholarship, and to select students who have to right to left school, and so on. 2. Assessment is diagnostic. This assessment serves to get to know the student's background in psychological, physical, and environmental. It is very important to find the causes of students' learning difficulties because most students have difficulties in learning because there are several external factors that influence it, and this must be diagnosed by the teacher and the school. The information obtained can be used to provide guidance and counseling to overcome the difficulties they face. The next is assessment functions as a placement. Usually, assessment with this function is carried out when the new student admissions or when the grade increases. To be able to determine with certainty which group of students should be placed in, an assessment is used. A group of students who have the same interests, characteristics, level of ability, and assessment result will be in the same study groups, so that it is easier to the teacher to know the level of ability of students in a class on average. And the last is assessment functions as a measure of success. This assessment is intended to determine the progress or learning outcomes of students. These figures obtained are included as a report to parents for grade promotion and the determination of graduation for students. The next topic is function of the assessment. The first is measuring the competence or capability of students, whether they have realized the predetermined goals. 2. Determine which objectives have been realized so the appropriate corrective actions can be taken. 3. Deciding on the ranking of students in terms of their success in achieving the agreed goals. 4. Provide information to teachers about whether or not the teaching strategies used are suitable, so that the advantage and disadvantages of these teaching strategies can be.
Next, I will explain about the strength and weakness of project assessment. The strength, Haryati at 2007 identified the advantage of project assessment. The first is project work is part of standardized learning process which is pedagogical and meaningful for students. Second, students have the opportunity to express the competencies they master in their entirety. Third is more efficient and produce some products or it project reports. And last is the resulting competency mastery value can be accounted for. Some other advantage according to researchers such as Christiana, Sunyasi and Suatyana at 2014 that project assessment in learning affects students' critical thinking skill. And by Candidate at 2016, project assessment can be used to determine understanding, ability to apply, ability to investigate, and ability to clearly inform students on certain lesson. And there are some weaknesses too identified by Murphy at 2009. The first is teachers need more time in the research process. Second, it takes a lot of time in supervision to ensure the implementation of assignment by students. The third, the different level of students' abilities make students' difficulties different in one project. And the last is there is no opportunity to repeat the project if it fails considering the availability of time. The next is step of project assessment development. The first step is determine the appropriate competencies to be assessed through the project. The second is assessment includes project planning, implementation, and reporting. The next is develop project process and outcome indicators based on defined competencies. The next is determine the criteria that indicate the assessment of indicators at each stage of the project. Next is plan project whether it is individual or group. And next is plan technical for individual assessment on group project. And the last is arrange assessment based on the assessment rubric. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. So next we have example of mathematics project assessment development for grade 11. So let's get into it. Okay, next we have this in the left side subject of mathematics with class 11 for program science. The basic competence we have here, there are three, which is presents data in the form of frequency distribution table, and then the second one determine the mean, median, and modes, and the last is determine the size of the location. And with the assessment type of project, because we will discuss about project assessment development. And in the right side we have here, we can see that there is an assignment for do this task in a group. So that means the teacher needs to give an instruction for all of the students to make a group first and then try to do this assignment. So the assignment consists of first collect data on the weight and height of students in kilogram and centimeter according to the division of a group. And then the second one we have make a frequency distribution table and histogram from the data. And the third is find the median, mode, mean, lower quartile, and upper quartile values. And the last the students need to make a written report about the activities carry out and present the result in front of a class. Next. Okay, next is we have rubric or scoring guidelines. There are three steps: preparation, implementation, and reporting. First, the preparation consists of topics, objective, material, or tools. Work step, time, estimated data to be obtained, such as observation or data collection format in accordance with the objective from score 0 to 2. And then the second step is implementation, consists of accuracy in using tools or materials, data recorded in a neat, clear, and complete manner, grouping and data analysis from score 0 to 4. For the reporting, we have the accuracy of content of the report, such as formulating topics, formulating objectives, creating tools and materials, outlining the step of activities, and the second one is the accuracy of the form of the report presentation, such as systematic writing, communicative language, presentation of complete data, and also containing conclusion and suggestion from score 0 to 4. So the total score of this scoring or rubric is 0 to 10. Okay, next we have the scoring guidelines for the assignment. We already mentioned in knowing about the rubric or scoring guidelines. There are 3 steps, which mean preparatory, implementation, and reporting. So here we can see for preparatory, for 0 score means that the description of the rubric doesn't do it, and for 1 score means the description of the rubric does some of it, and then for the maximum score of preparatory means that there is score 2. The description of the rubric exists or is done all. For implementation and reporting, we can see here there are 4. For score 1 means that do not do or no rubric has been determined. 2 is there are many errors or incomplete and a score of rubric. And for score 3, there are few errors or incomplete in rubrics. And for the 4 score means that there are no errors or complete in rubrics. Okay, and that's all for our discussion, presentation about project assessment development. Hope it will make use for all the people that watch this. Thank you for all the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.